Am I the a-hole for being honest with another mom about why my daughter is not allowed to go to her friend's house? I am using a throwaway account because my daughter uses my main account for other subreddits. I really need an outside opinion because my family tells me I am right, but they also do not have to deal with the awkwardness here. I have a daughter, Elena, who is 13. Elena has a friend named Kennedy, who is new at school this year. Kennedy's mom works in the school office, which becomes somewhat relevant later. Our house is kind of the house. Elena does not have a big group of friends, but as long as the kids can get their own snacks and do not make too much noise, everyone is welcome. Because of this, Elena rarely goes to anyone else's house. All of her friends usually come to ours. We have even hosted some of her friends' birthday sleepovers. A couple of weeks ago, though, Elena asked if she could sleep over at Kennedy's house because the next day Kennedy had a family party, and Kennedy had been allowed to invite a friend. I said sure. Again, her mom works in the school office, and whenever she has come to pick Kennedy up, she has been polite. I did not see an issue. But when I went to drop Elena off, my opinion changed. Kennedy's stepdad answered the door, and I am not kidding when I say I have never felt so immediately disturbed by a person. I cannot even explain why. My stomach just lurched. I immediately felt like I needed to hold some kind of conversation with him so I could at least get a better read on him. I made some small talk with him on the porch, during which he proceeded to open an alcoholic drink and flirtatiously said he did not believe I was old enough to have a teenage daughter. This was after asking me twice how old she was and telling me how similar we look. He also demanded, right in front of me, that Kennedy change her clothes because she was wearing shorts. In her own house. Kennedy's mom came home while I was still on the porch, which made me feel slightly better, so I left. But when I got home, I told my husband that he was going to pick Elena up that evening because she was not spending the night there. We made an excuse about a forgotten plan for the next day and picked Elena up before dinner. I do not care if everyone thinks I am crazy or judges me for not letting her stay based on no concrete evidence. I grew up believing that if you had a feeling, you followed it. My husband agreed with me that Elena would not be going over there again. Last week, I was at school pickup and ran into the mom of one of Elena's other friends. We are casual friends, mom friends, basically. She mentioned that she had not seen Elena at Kennedy's house that Sunday at the party. Kennedy had invited this other girl to the Sunday party but not to the sleepover. I said no, Elena had not slept over. My friend asked if there was any particular reason, and I was honest. I said that I just did not want her going over there because the stepdad gave me the creeps. I told my friend about the interaction, and she thanked me for telling her. She said she would probably do the same thing as me. I thought nothing more of it. It did not come up again, except yesterday, at school pickup, Kennedy's mom came outside and confronted me. She said that another mom was now not letting her daughter come over because of males in the house without the mother home, and that she knew it was my fault because I was the one who met her husband. She said she knew I lied in order to pick Elena up early. She accused me of being a snob because Kennedy attends the school on free tuition, which she gets because her mom works there, and of judging her family based on where they live. None of that is true, but there was no convincing her. I guess I did not adequately defend myself because, firstly, I was in public and did not want to cause a scene, and secondly, because being called a snob probably sounded better than saying, "Your husband seems predatory." She then said that I was isolating Kennedy by poisoning the other mom against her family. That part, I am not sure I can honestly say is untrue. But I would want another mom to tell me. You can do whatever you want with the information, but if I had never met the stepdad and someone else had felt as uncomfortable as I did, I would want them to let me know. That is why I told her. Because we are all just trying to look out for our kids. But Kennedy's mom seemed more upset than angry, and I understand that this must be embarrassing for her. I also know that I do not have any actual evidence that this man did anything wrong, so now I feel like maybe I was out of line sharing my completely unfounded opinion with my friend. Was I? Do I owe the whole family an apology? Final update: the post blew up more than I expected. Thank you to everyone who shared their views, whether positive or negative. I have never been in a situation like this before. I grew up in a city, and after the age of 11 or 12 my parents did not know my friends' parents. There were not social dynamics like this to navigate, and there was not gossip between parents. I handled it the best I could while trying not to offend anyone. I still get messages asking for an update, so here it is. First things first, for everyone wondering how Kennedy's mom, who I will call Sarah, knew that it was her husband I had an issue with, I figured it out. After talking to my husband and getting an actual play-by-play of what happened when he went to pick Elena up that night, it became clear that he implied we were not happy with how her husband had conducted himself. So it was not that she automatically knew her husband was the issue. My husband did say that Sarah looked like she knew there was a problem the second he showed up, though. Make of that what you will. I do not want to believe that any woman could know something is not right about her husband and then act like everything is fine, but time and time again that seems to be the case. Second, some people suggested that my friend, who I will call Amy, had asked me about the sleepover because she also got strange vibes from the stepdad. That turned out to be correct. Amy said that Kennedy's mom had answered the door at drop-off, but when Amy came to pick her daughter up, Sarah stepped out back while her daughter gathered her things. Amy saw the stepdad talking to one of the cousins, a teenage girl, and she was put off by his body language. She did not realize he was the stepdad until her daughter told her later. Her daughter said Kennedy's stepdad is a weirdo and described him making inappropriate jokes and demanding physical affection from his stepkids and their cousins. Amy said she was sorry for throwing me under the bus, but Sarah had called her to talk about the girls working on a school project at their house, and Amy had felt put on the spot. She admitted that hearing me also having concerns about the stepdad had made her trust her gut that it was not a good idea for her daughter to go over there again. Amy also said she was going to make a group chat and send a message to the other parents in the group telling them about her experience. She asked if I would at least share mine to corroborate her story. I thought about that long and hard, but ultimately I said yes. I did not share my vibes. I only shared the facts about what happened when I dropped Elena off. I did not even say that we picked her up early. The fact is, if the truth makes a person look bad, then that is simply what it is. Parents can decide for themselves, but I think it is important that people have the information. I would want someone to keep me informed if I were in their position. It did not turn into some huge gossip session. Every parent thanked us profusely for speaking up and said they would take these things into consideration. Then we left it there. I think everyone understood the spirit in which it was meant. I did end up texting Sarah and explaining the situation to her. I always text so that I have a record of what was said. I told her I did not have any issue with where she lives, but her husband's behavior had made me uneasy about leaving my child there. Whether my concerns were founded or not, they were my concerns as a mother, which I thought she might understand. I also acknowledged that she might not agree with my assessment of the situation, which is why I did not want to make a big public issue out of it. I reiterated that Kennedy is welcome at our house, that she is a lovely kid, and that I hope Sarah can understand my position. I also apologized for the misunderstanding. I expected more of a dialogue, but she simply responded by saying that Kennedy would not be coming over anymore because she was not comfortable with her daughter being in my care. I told her I hoped she would change her mind, that Kennedy is always welcome, and left it at that. I was not going to argue because, honestly, if someone said that about my husband, I am not sure I would let my child go to their house either. Although my husband does not behave like hers, so it is not really comparable. Kennedy has not come over since. Elena said they are still friends and do not blame each other for the drama. I am so proud of my daughter for her maturity throughout this whole situation. However, it is obviously harder now when the girls come over here on weekends and Kennedy cannot join them. The girls had a sleepover this weekend. Since when are young girls so into car racing that they are holding watch parties? Elena and I made Kennedy a little party favor bag to bring to school so she could feel included. If I am being brutally honest, as great as it is that the girls are being mature and not making a big deal about it to Kennedy, I am not sure it will work in the long term. I truly hope I am wrong, and maybe I am not giving the girls enough credit. But it just seems like there are many things Kennedy cannot participate in now. I feel terrible that this situation has happened and that Kennedy's social life has been one of the consequences, but I also do not see how this could have been avoided. We do not trust each other with our children. It is as simple, and as complicated, as that. And through all of this, I admit I still do not know if the stepdad is actually dangerous. My husband looked into him, and there are no records of anything involving children. He might simply be a chauvinistic pig who falls into the "where's my hug?" category. There is a wide range of people between pleasant and dangerous, and I do not claim to know where he falls on that spectrum. But I feel better knowing that I do not have to face a mother I have known for years and think that I might have been able to stop something from happening to her child but chose not to say anything. Maybe I do have to make peace with being seen as a gossiping troublemaker. But that is something I can live with, and that is where we are now. I think that is everything, but if I have missed anything, please let me know. Thank you again to everyone who took the time to comment and help me feel a little less crazy. As always, I do not know if my way of handling things will end up being the right way. Maybe there is not a single right way. We are all just trying to take care of our kids the best way we can.